Why Starship Impossible? There's a lot of space-related shows out there. What makes this different?
What makes it different is that we made it. That's the main difference.
That is a good difference.
Because, a lot of people like space shows, and my favourite show growing up was probably Star Trek The Next Generation. But and there have been a lot of parodies, but with this one, although there's a nod to a lot of those shows, it tried to make the characters and the world its own place, so that it... and really, it's a workplace comedy, I think, actually, even though it just happens to be set in space.
Fine, cool. And then the characters do feel like they're quite different. Was that deliberate?
Yeah, that's totally deliberate. Whatever deliberate is.
Good word.
It was deliberate and also deliberate. So yeah, I think it was, with comedy, you want to make sure all the characters are flawed, but in slightly different ways. And so I do like the main character, not the main character, but the captain. He's... I want you to like him because he is essentially just wants an easy life. So basically, he has a choice between being lazy or letting someone else do his job. And actually, in that equation, he would rather do his job because he's worried that someone's going to basically blow up the spaceship and kill him.
Nice. So I've gone for a really lo-fi aesthetic with this, like really quickly drawn, black and white, bit rough around the edges. How did you feel about that in terms of your writing being transferred into this kind of rough around the edges kind of aesthetic?
Well, I think that's great because there's there's already plenty of shows out there which are extremely high production values, and that's great if you're I know Star Trek are doing another animation out of California, and but we don't have those budgets.
We don't.
So
we have no budgets.
So we have no budgets. So the fact that it gets delivered to all, and actually people are so used to watching all kinds of productions now on YouTube, because if you've got a good story and you've got some fun-looking visuals, what more do you want? We when we were kids. This isn't a kids show, but when we were kids, we would watch things like Mr. Ben, and I remember that being animated. And I remember years later going back and watching it and realizing it was really just illustrations with like wobbly legs. But
that's what I've built my whole career on.
Yeah, exactly. But they were good stories and good characters, so you don't care. I
think the black and white thing for me as well is obviously we're both colourblind, if anyone doesn't know. So doing black and white is easy because what I'm drawing, I know everyone else is seeing. Whereas when I use colour, I'm never really sure. And also I don't know what it is. There's a weird gut feeling drawing that way that I really like. I really enjoy that look. It makes me feel happy somehow. And it's a really fast way of working, which means we can get things out quickly, which means it's quite exciting because you can finish your scene really quickly and then put it out there.
I think you have to respond to that feeling, because if you just look at something and like it, you don't always have to understand that. I think you just have to trust it.
And one thing with this is that you wrote this and did all the voices and everything for it as kind of a radio play about 8 years ago, something like that.
It was a long time ago.
So it's been kind of sat there, and every time I go back and listen to it, it's made me laugh. So I was really like, how do you feel about the fact it's like coming to life now, like visually?
Well, I think what's interesting is that it's been sat there as a radio play for a while, and people have been able to listen to it, but people just... people aren't used to engaging with that, whereas people are used to engaging with short videos, and even the first two, which we kind of soft launched, have only got like a few hundred views, but basically like 10% of those people are actually liking it, and that's actually when you know how YouTube videos work, you can see that's actually a really high view to like count. So that's really encouraging, and it means people are watching it, enjoying it, and some people have asked for more. So that's always.
And there will be more.
And there will be more.
Yeah. And there's one thing we've talked about before is that a lot of the stuff we've done, we've just kind of moved on. We've done a character, done a film, done a little short, and then the next one's been a completely different thing. And we've done that all throughout the last 10 years. Whereas with this, we've kind of had a chat about the fact that there's a whole bunch of other scripts you've written, like sketches, that feel like they could be adapted for this world. And we think we might play around with that idea that let's just make some things in the Starship Impossible world and see how that plays out. See if we can just play around with one set of characters rather than continually reinventing worlds. Especially that's very nice for me as well when I'm busy with other projects, that I don't have to keep drawing everything. This set of characters are kind of like reusable in a really great way.
Yeah, I think because when we were talking about this recently, where I've been on a course and it was kind of describing different types of people, and I kind of identified what we do as being explorers, because we are always changing what we're doing. We tried, like this is 10 years ago, we did The Moonbird, which was not funny. It was a fairy tale, and it was black and white, and it was done in a different technique using chalks and stuff, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
so we're always trying different things, and working with different people, different composers, and I think that is great because you learn lots of different things. But I think you look at the things that are successful online, especially, and they do tend to be people that have just plugged away at one idea and produce a lot of content so that people can really get involved in it. And I think this has got lots of legs, and there's lots of opportunity for lots of different stories.
Definitely. Right. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed me drawing the stuff while you've been listening to the stuff, and hopefully the new episode should be out mid-January. We're hoping, and that the next bit is the introduction to the wider story of this particular one. So enjoy. Have a lovely Christmas.